Just give us a little something to make sure that this isn't fucked up again.
Okay, how about if I speak in a manner like this, and you can hear me and when I speak?
Yes, I can hear you, and I can respond when you speak.
Okay, good.
Yes, we're good. All right, it is you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, I'll pretend to be.
I'm not ready.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
Ghost of Frankenstein.
My son, would you destroy that which I, your father, dedicated his life to creating? What if it had another brain?
Whose brain?
Your brain.
Power! What good is a brain without eyes to see?
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute. That's a podcast where you dissect the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute, and then we've decided it should be us. I'm Bill Evenson.
We made that blanket decision 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody's complained about it yet, so
I wouldn't go that far.
well, nobody's stopped us yet.
Yeah,
they're trying.
They're
but
trying. There's some real effort afoot.
Yeah, and I'm Tom Lang, and you join us for minute 49 of 1942's All New Thrills.
All New Thrills, The Ghost of Frankenstein. And you join us on Thursday, April 25th, which is nothing. Nothing is happening today.
Oh, I forgot to mention last week, but that's
You did?
okay.
Oh, well. Tomorrow, if you're listening on if you're a non-Patreon, tomorrow you'll be celebrating the birth of Harry Cording.
He will.
Yep.
He's in like all of these at some point or another.
Is he?
He's in a lot more than I had expected.
Yeah.
He's very prominent in The Black Cat, but he's in Frankenstein. I think he's in Bride. He shows up all over the place. It's very usually uncredited, usually a small role, usually not much dialogue, if any.
Yeah.
Because he's a mute character in Black Cat.
In Black Cat, yeah, he's got a good.
He's got a very good presence, though.
Yeah,
he's a big burly guy.
Right.
Like he's a gendarme in Frankenstein.
He is?
When Belmore, the burgomaster, is on the steps outside of his office talking to the crowd below, when they first bring Maria up,
okay,
and there's that railing that Cording is on screen right just next to Lionel Belmore.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, like you've said, we got to redo these.
I pointed him out, but I didn't go into detail. Yeah.
Okay. Also, of course, we're celebrating the release of the landmark film Mark of the Vampire in 1935. You a fan?
Yes and no.
I always get it mixed up with the other one. So Mark is the one that has the Wolfman in it, or the werewolf in it?
No, that's Return of the Vampire.
So Mark of the Vampire is an act?
They're all pretending, yeah.
And he's got a bullet hole in his head and it's fake?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one. I mean, I know the thing about that one is it stars Barrymore, right?
Lionel Barrymore.
Yeah, he's good in that.
Yeah, he's good. The whole cast is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's beautifully photographed. It's MGM, so they spared no expense. For the most part. I mean, it was a B film for them, but...
They spared some expense.
Right. But not as much as Universal would have spared.
Right.
But James Wong Howe was the director of photography, and he's one of the best.
Okay.
So it looks fucking gorgeous. Especially in that creepy castle.
Yes.
If you really look at it and logically try to piece the story together, it makes zero sense whatsoever, and the ending is a huge cop-out.
Yeah.
If you look at it, which I've started to do, as sort of Browning's answer to both London After Midnight and Dracula, it's almost like he's having fun for once with the film. And
isn't it the story essentially a remake of
London After Midnight?
London After Midnight, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And he's got Dracula in it.
Right.
Well, he's not Dracula, but it's the same guy.
For all intents and purposes, he's
yeah, that's true.
And there is a cute little coda at the end with Lugosi and Carol Borland.
It's fine. When you say it like that, that is kind of the best way to look at it. The movie's doing just fine. It really doesn't need that at the end, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, but it is a cute little thing at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I used to not like it at all because of the way the story unfolds and that, it's all an act.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't hold up to that at all.
No, that level, it fails.
None of it makes any sense then. But if you look at it as like, oh, we're just fucking around.
Yeah.
Then it's fine.
And it also, when you look at it historically, one of the things that people have said about Dracula is it's in that era. I don't think it's the first time, but it's in that era where it was unusual for a movie not to do that, right? Like, isn't that how they generally spooky shit turned out to be?
It's claimed. Had to explain why. It's claimed to be the first American supernatural horror.
That it's actually real. He's an actual vampire.
And I'm not sure that's entirely true. I could probably find a silent example somewhere. It is certainly the Taki first one. And
but I mean, when you say American, Nosferatu, of course, doesn't do that.
But German films weren't afraid.
Every German film
weren't afraid to do that at all.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the other one I was just going to say? The big German one.
Caligari.
Caligari. Yeah, that's not.
Or the Golem. The
Golem. Absolutely. Yeah. If you're listening to this on Sunday, I mean, I don't know what's taking you so long, but happy birthday.
Well, there could be extenuating circumstances.
I suppose. If you were in the hospital, I forgive you. Happy birthday, Carl Laemmle Jr., who's still going strong at the age of 116.
He doesn't look it, though.
Doesn't look a day over 114.
We can thank Carl Laemmle Jr. or Julius Laemmle, which was his birth name, for all of this.
Yes. Julius? I'd forgotten that.
Yeah.
What was Groucho's birth name?
Julius Henry.
Yeah.
Julius Henry, then we have a William Henry Pratt. So it all ties together.
It all ties together somehow.
6 degrees of Groucho.
Monday, of course, we will be mourning the death of May Henry Clark, who died in 1992 from complications due to a grapefruit in the face.
Yep.
Which I said I made that joke.
It took a long time to...
Yeah, that's true, in 92.
That's a long...
God, she really died in 92.
Yeah.
I made that joke.
I think I have the newspaper clipping.
And somebody thought I was telling the truth, actually. I can't remember who it was. So whatever I said, I must have said it in such an oblique way that it came across as rational. Tuesday, we will celebrate the birth of David Manners. We're both Manners fans. It's one of the great stories, I think, of this era is, well, not this era, but the Laemmle era, that he made these great films that are now recognized as great films. His roles in them are, for the most part, pretty great. He's great in them.
Maybe not Dracula, but
I like
he's a little stiff in that.
He's a little stiff in that, but I think that works.
But yeah, the Mummy, Black Cat, he's great.
He's great. And went to his deathbed giving interview after interview about how much he fucking hated all of it.
Yep.
He thought all these movies were shit to his death.
He hadn't seen Dracula, and Skull was interviewing him. It was one of the first times anybody had interviewed him in decades.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can get you I'll get you a tape of it. He's like, no,
I'm good.
I'm good.
Also, possibly of note, on Tuesday, April 30th, is the anniversary of the founding of Universal Pictures in 1912.
Possibly of note?
It's possibly of note. It might be related.
1912?
1912, according to this.
Yeah, no, that's
fair?
That's true, yeah. Yeah, that's when he founded Universal City, created the first studio backlot here.
Hired Lon Chaney?
Hired Lon Chaney?
Probably.
Well, I'm reading that book, the Karloff Compendium. I don't know if you
I don't even know what you're talking
Barsky
about.
and I have talked about it.
The title of it makes me want it. What is it?
It's fantastic. It's big. I can show you before you leave if we remember.
We won't. I'll just look now. See if it's online.
But
Karloff Compendium.
There's the story of how Karloff met Chaney, and Chaney sort of giving him a boost. Karloff's having a tough time getting into the industry.
Is this one of these stories that's made up?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, and I wondered when I first read it years ago that it was, and it had been presented as, they met. Yep.
Okay.
They met in an elevator, and Chaney talked to him, blah, 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 blah. Karloff tells it that he was walking out of Universal, and they knew each other from having been at the studio. And
aren't they even in a couple of films together?
I think so.
Karloff's
like an extra, yeah.
Almost like an extra.
Yeah, and Chaney's behind him in his car honking at him, and Karloff's like all but flipping him off, and then Chaney shouts something at him, so gives him a ride, and then they got to talking, and Karloff's like, I think I might go back to either the stage or look, labor. I don't know.
Yeah, wow.
And Chaney's like, no, don't give up. And he said, here's a tip. Take the roles that nobody else either will do or can do. And that, I guess, was defined his career.
Just looking at the cover of this book, he was Fu Manchu, The Mummy, Frankenstein. Yeah, I mean, he did. And he did great. We like him. We've decided.
Karloff's okay.
He's really good in Night Key.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He basically owns that movie. He
Absolutely.
Wednesday will be the anniversary of the death of both Skelton Knaggs in 1955 and Tom Tyler in 1954. He died kind of early.
Yeah.
Because he was in...
Skelton Knaggs, I'm surprised he lived that long, but
yeah.
Tyler, yeah. Well, I know he was starting to get really bad arthritis around the time of The Mummy's Hand, which could be partially why he didn't continue in that role, but I think the biggest factor is they were trying to groom Chaney as the next horror star, and
that makes sense.
Sometimes it works, and sometimes it really does not.
For the most part, that role is so...
I question whether it's Chaney half the time.
Yeah, you don't even need... There's those pictures of Jack Pierce putting the finishing touches on him, and you wonder, was this all for our benefit?
Well, and the story had always been, he had to be wrapped up in that every day. Well, a cursory viewing of the film reveals a zipper down the side of it.
Yeah, right.
And it's pretty obvious that it's a costume that wasn't wound around him every day. Unlike Tyler and Karloff, who had to suffer quite a bit. Yeah, and the mask or the makeup.
Well, and Karloff only had to do it for 3 minutes of screen time, but then he had an equally awful. Yeah,
I'm saying Ardith Bay was probably no picnic either.
Exactly.
But for Chaney, the makeup was literally a rubber mask glued to his face, and then the rest of it was made up around it. So he didn't sit there for 24 hours or whatever the story is that Karloff did, or Tyler.
Or even what he did as the Wolfman.
As the Wolfman. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Tom Tyler. Gone too soon.
Yes. Tom Tyler, we hardly knew ye.
Okay. Minute 49. Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
We're back still in Igor and Junior's bachelor pad.
Yeah, that's right.
Eric, it would seem this room has been recently occupied, Doctor.
Was that a gay joke? That they share a bachelor pad?
It might have been.
Or is it more like The Odd Couple? Yeah. Actually, we already did that. You already did The Odd Couple. One,
yeah. It wasn't intentionally, but it could be construed as such, because I know Paul Lynde, back when he was big in the 70s on the Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, and Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, he was obviously gay. Yeah. No, it was not A Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched.
Bewitched, yeah.
He was obviously gay, but he's always referred to as like a confirmed bachelor.
Yeah, right.
So it's sort of the code word for being gay.
Right.
Oh my God, it's all hell is broken.
Oh my God, now the recording stopped. Okay.
No,
it really did look like it hung for a second.
I keep glancing. It's there is a lag between.
It's fucking fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
It would seem this room has been recently occupied, Doctor. What are you doing? That's why it keeps fucking up.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
Well, I just did it fucking again. No, it's even worse.
Come in here and break my equipment.
Holy shit! There we go. Okay, go ahead.
I don't even remember what I said.
Oh, it's all right.
I was trying to do a Bellamy. Bellamy is. I said Bellamy is very stiff.
It seems that this room has been recently occupied, Doctor. So as I said before, Doctor. What? God damn it! God damn it! So unlike the script, it looks like it has been recently occupied.
Yes, in the script, it's dark, like you had said.
Yeah,
they're going around with the flashlight and all that. Did you? Is that why you brought that?
No, that's not why I brought that. But we could see. I could find out exactly what he says there. Actually, it's a note It's like a note in the script. It's not anything anybody says. It's a stage direction. It looks like he says Eric's flashlight moves over the walls onto the straw, which now is in a pile that doesn't suggest a bed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole point of it. Is that it doesn't look like it's been recently.
And I think
occupied.
This is better.
I think this is better
because it puts a
little bit more pressure on Ludwig. Yeah, exactly. It's funny when you read a story or watch a show or a movie or consume a play or listen to the radio series. I don't know, any kind of story.
You play those records.
When you play the record version of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was recorded with the same cast, but it has a slightly different story.
It's slightly different, yeah.
Yeah, the record. I actually had the tape when I was a kid.
I like the record better, actually.
The record's really tight.
It's a little more,
it's great. And like I said, I think it's completely the same cast. I think it's the same Ford, Arthur, and Zaphod.
It's a lot of the same sound effects.
Might not be the same Trillian, actually. Anyways, point being what?
I have no idea where that came from. When you consume a play, when you that's what you were going.
It's just so funny sometimes to think, the writing sometimes it just seems like it just needs another polish to give a character an additional motivation like this, where you've got Well, why make it easy on Ludwig
and
make it look like everything's in a pile? Why not ramp up the pressure with one line from Bellamy?
And I think the thought was it builds the tension because, oh my gosh, is he going to get caught? Well, we kind of want him to,
right? As
an audience. I think the idea was that we were supposed to identify with him, and oh my God,
you said that before,
sympathize with him, and oh my God, he's going to,
Yeah, I think there's, I'm not sure I'm completely on board with that. I think there's still.
No, I think that's the intention. It certainly does not.
That's the intention.
It does not come out that way.
I'm saying I don't even know if that is an accurate description of the intention. I'm sure there is some.
Certainly, look at the film though. The way
I have. I actually do a podcast where we talk about it minute by minute. Yeah, it's really not very good. Don't worry.
Okay.
But no, my point just being, I don't think that's. I think it's more, for me personally, and maybe it's just some bias I'm bringing to it, that we are supposed to be somewhat sympathetic to him, but ultimately, like you said, we want him to get caught.
Yeah, but I think, look, who's the protagonist then here? Certainly not Eric. I don't think
every movie has a protagonist.
Yeah, but this is the 1940s, very studio produced, clear cut, good, bad.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you're probably right.
I always root for the monster personally.
I mean, yeah.
But I don't think that you were supposed to.
I know you were supposed to.
In Frankenstein and Bride, sure.
Yeah.
By Son, no. He's a killing machine. That evil brain, and
That's true. All of that. All of these things you just said are true. So sometimes it's hard to figure out why I think we're disagreeing when every word that comes out of your mouth I agree with. But we're drawing different conclusions. Still having
problems with that? Why?
Now I'm just paranoid, so I'm just pulling on it to make sure that it doesn't.
Why are you having problems today and you haven't for the last 4 years?
I can't imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're familiar with my work.
You're a fan.
You're a fan of my work.
You're familiar with my work, right?
Eric. For those of you playing on, that's Ludwig saying that.
Yes.
Is that you're familiar with my work?
Yep.
You have an autographed copy, I believe.
That's true.
Of my book.
You had requested an autograph, but after today's
I'm not so
events,
sure
I'm not sure
willing to provide that.
So willing to comply with your request, Eric.
And
you got presumption.
He's kind of glaring at Eric with a little bit of a snark, because I think now he's like, okay, I'm off the hook.
Okay.
There's nothing here.
Right.
They don't have shit. They're gonna leave.
Yeah.
So
I get
like,
that.
Okay,
I get that. I completely get
okay, you're familiar with my work, dipshit.
Yeah.
Look around.
Yeah.
Well, of course there's this room.
You came into my house and said, it looks like someone's been here. Yeah, I live here. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No matter what way he plays it, Eric doesn't have like the smoking gun that he seems to be playing it up like. Yeah. It seems like someone's been in this room. Well, you're in this room.
Dumbass.
What is the problem?
Yeah.
I can't have people in rooms.
You familiar? I keep the room ready at all times for the more violently insane.
Actually, it's close. He says violently
insane.
Yeah, which I think is a pretty fun thing to contemplate. What the hell is going on around here?
What are you doing? Maybe it's your jacket.
Quit fucking around.
Screwing everything up.
Yeah, it could be. Oh, it's cold out, you guys. It got cold finally.
I'm sure it's getting really cold upstairs because we've had the heat off for the last 4 hours.
All right. Oh, it's been 4 hours. Almost.
All right. Yeah, we better wrap this up quick.
We're at minute 49.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
As you can see, it's not occupied now.
Yes. See? There you go. I like it. Yeah. It works. It works on that level.
I think he realizes, they don't got shit.
Yeah. It's a really good response to Eric.
Igor and Junior aren't here, so fuck you.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
Which perfectly reasonable, which is what he should have said as soon as they were in his office.
Yeah. It's got to be off-putting to have gone through all of these stages of that uncomfortable moment in his room where he was so out of sorts he couldn't even smoke.
Yeah.
And then to go into, this is my operating room. Oh, you found the passage. Oh, then we'll go here. Oh, we found another passage. It just keeps compounding.
Just building,
and it's like,
and building.
Man, all my secrets, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's got to be a feeling of you're doing a good job, actually.
Getting a little too close.
But I can't, getting a little too close. And then to, like you've said.
It's all for nothing.
Now I'm like, I'm going to just turn this around and be like, see what you see?
What did I tell you?
Hide, knowing full well that at any moment, Igor, the monster, or Bomer could come out of those fucking shadows or come down that room.
Well, so I was saying we should put my brain in the monster, and you're going to substitute Kevin's brain, who was killed yesterday.
So you're saying use your brain in the hello.
We were just talking hypothetically.
Yeah, if
there were a monster here, it's just an escaped lunatic.
But there you go. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know.
Eric probably wouldn't be so kind to see Igor, I wouldn't think, right? He's after Igor.
Yeah, he wouldn't be thrilled to see Igor.
Did he meet Igor? Why
no,
don't I
but
know anything?
he's heard of him. No, they haven't met.
He's just heard the horn, probably. A couple times.
We've all heard
the horn.
I warned you that you might regret this action.
Yeah, I like the that in our introduction.
Yeah.
I warned you.
Yep. And then he turns around and they all follow him, but he's not in the habit of making threats, but there's going to be a strongly worded letter about this in the Times tomorrow.
That's about where it stands, yeah.
Yeah.
He's just being a dick. There's no getting around
Ludwig
it.
or Eric?
It's not doing it. He's not doing himself any favors by announcing to Eric that he can't.
You're
you can no longer bang my daughter.
Dead to me. Yeah.
So
that's not going to
because
put
you suspected me or whatever.
That's not going to put Eric at his ease.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to put him off the trail.
Right. Eric's not going to go, you know what, you're right. I'm
so sorry.
And you're fired. And he turns to Haji or whatever and says, you're fucking fired.
What's
stupid.
That?
You're so stupid.
Leading me down here like this.
What were you thinking?
They exit out. There's a brief sort of crossfade dissolve.
Not a lap dissolve.
Well, it starts to fade out and then it fades up really quickly onto the next scene.
Yep.
Which is Junior's out for his evening constitutional.
And we've seen him do this before. In the last film, he went over and visited the apothecary. Yeah.
Well, he needed some headache powder and
no doubt.
Yeah.
He's got to be in a lot of pain.
Just from the very get-go, you would think that it would be excruciating.
Yeah.
All
he's
that
probably
stuff.
Feeding him
stitched the laudanum.
Laudanum?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the big... Well, in the novel, anyway.
Oxycodone?
Yeah, now. But yeah, in the novel, laudanum... Well, and Mary Shelley and that whole group, they
bunch of drug addicts.
They drank laudanum like it was Coca-Cola.
What is laudanum?
A poison.
Coca-Cola?
It's a poison, basically.
Okay.
But it was thought to be like a nerve tonic.
More of a poison than like Diet Coke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it will literally kill you.
Okay. Literally, I will die from this? How do you know that? Did you put laudanum in my...
That's why I offered...
I keep fucking up the microphone?
That's why I offered to give you some more, too.
I see you've finished your laudanum.
He's out for his evening constitutional through the Universal backlot.
Yeah, true.
And he enters a building.
He enters a Western.
He does. How does he know exactly which one to enter?
Yeah.
He's just out wandering.
Yep.
Little known fact that Frankenstein monsters have an innate sense of direction.
Yeah, apparently.
And they know precisely where to go.
And I think we'll find this to be the case in future films, actually, strangely enough. The monster seems to come barreling into situations left and right. You're like, how did he do that? How did that happen? Maybe I'm making it up. I could think of one in particular during the Festival of the New Wine. Maybe he's attracted to the music, actually.
The music could be.
He's a music fan.
Well, and we'll get into why it's not clear in the film also.
That film?
Yeah, why he bumbles into that.
Yeah, that's a good
and
point.
literally bumbles. I mean,
but the problem.
I just watched that because it was on the Universal Channel.
Okay.
Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman.
Any good?
The Wolfman parts.
Okay, good. I had that too. How could he possibly know where he's going? There's no explanation for it in anything that we've seen. But of course, it's also possible that something happened that we didn't see.
Yeah.
But it would have to be something very specific because he abducts her.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
In the beginning of the film.
Well, okay, yeah.
I'm using that term very loosely because he abducts her in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But then, or he's at least that's the position that the law would take.
It appears as though he's abducted.
There you go, perfect.
And we're talking about Cloestine in case you're playing along at home.
Yeah, if people aren't following,
if you're still paying attention to this
if
drivel.
anyone's still listening, let's start over. No, so then he's immediately subdued and arrested.
Yeah.
So there's no way. Although he does see her then in the courtroom.
Yeah, but he still doesn't know where.
And then he goes out the window.
Still doesn't know where he lives.
And then he gets on. No, I think you're right, but I'm sure I have to go through it because I'm slow. Then he gets on a cart.
And they go off.
Barely gets on a cart. Yeah. Janie can barely be bothered to even get on the cart, and that's it. I guess they don't go to her house.
Well, maybe that's where they are when Ludwig and Eric and the Gestapo go down into their apartment.
What?
That's where they are. Igor and the monster. He's like, yeah, that's where she lives.
That could be.
I don't know. That's the only.
Here's the problem with that. That's contradicted by dialogue in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the only problem with it. I like it
because I'm just trying to make sense of it.
It's the best. here's the other thing, though. It's also contradicted by dialogue from someone that we don't believe, who's a very good liar.
Yes, that's true.
So we'll cover.
Yes,
this would be great. We'll cover it in an upcoming minute.
Yep, in about 10 weeks.
Is it that long? I thought it was just in a couple of weeks.
Or maybe it's a few weeks, but
yeah.
I thought it was longer.
I haven't seen it in a while. This Frankenstein.
There's another little crossfade dissolve to little Cloestine, all tucked in her bed, sound asleep.
Yeah, well, I don't have anything specific to say about
that particular
but then
shot.
We show the doorway.
Well, no, first then it cuts to a little wider shot of her bedroom and her bed, and then a shaft of light appears on her.
A monster.
And widens to reveal the silhouette of Junior standing in the doorway.
Some flat-headed
dipshit standing in her doorway.
A drunk. Barely awake.
Yep, and he starts to kind of creep into shot.
And then they cut to the doorway.
There's a wide shot of the doorway.
And he ducks to go in.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, that's clever. They made the door shorter.
So he looks taller. Oh, no.
But in the script...
Oh, no. You'd be wrong in thinking that.
You might think that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but you'd be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the script they said... It talks about how her room is in the upstairs. Okay. And you kind of get that by the shape of the ceiling. Okay. There's a little dormer window off to the side.
Yeah.
So yes, we get that it's. But till I read this, whenever it came out, that's what I'd always thought is, oh, that's a nice touch. They make the door shorter so he looks huge.
Yep. Nope. Mm-mm. It's a dollhouse. She kind of lives in a dollhouse, so they make this references to that in the script. The door is shorter. Some other things I think.
It's like how it's decorated.
And how it's decorated in particular. Is she's Barbie basically.
And none of that
is Barbie before Barbie. This is the real Barbie.
Right. And none of that other stuff is really bore out in the film about how it's decorated, and it's very plain.
It's kind of true, isn't it?
The way it's described in the film.
Right. In the book,
script,
it seems a little bit
much more elaborate. Like everything in this film, the script is more elaborate than the movie. And
here, I got no problem with it just because I don't know what that would add to this.
I really wouldn't make the slightest bit of difference.
It would be a nice bit of flavor. I guess.
It would have been, it would have given more flavor. It would have made it more cute.
Yeah.
Made her more innocently cute or whatever. But I don't think that's needed because look at her.
Yeah, that's true. She's just no. We don't have to get past her creepy. She's not Clint Howard.
Yeah, on Star Trek.
She's a cute kid. We don't have to worry about it.
We don't have to worry.
So there you go.
So Junior is really stealthy here because he's clomped his way into the house through the front door.
Presumably.
I assume he's had to go up a flight of stairs.
Well, all of this is an assumption, but I think you're right. Oh no, because we do see him at the front door, of course.
Yeah, he goes in the front door.
Sorry, yeah.
And then this room appears to be, like I said, upstairs, and it is described as such in the script.
It's got to be a scene missing where he sees her go in there.
There's not in there, though. It's not in the script ever.
No, I mean scene missing
in general,
in life. Yeah. I mean, actually, it's not even hard to think of one. To be honest, this scene could start 10 seconds earlier, and you could see them walking in. Mm-hmm. Although she's already in bed.
She's already in bed, and we assume so is her father, and if there's a mother, we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, okay, when I was a kid, though, I thought she was home alone.
Interesting.
Because this monster got in all the way into the house to her bedroom.
Yeah.
And walks off with her, and nobody else awakes. So I thought, well, they must just have left her home alone.
Yeah.
She's asleep. Let's go out and grab a couple of drinks.
The thing about that is it could be. We don't see anything to say that doesn't happen.
It's not out of the question for that era either.
Yeah.
Nowadays you would do it.
In Frankenstein, that's what happens to little Maria.
Yeah.
You play with the kitty. I'll be gone. I'll be back. And I got to go to the bar.
Possibly go wrong.
Yeah. You play with the kitty in the pond. You sit by this body of water
that you're not able to navigate by yourself, and
Yep.
I just watched that too. It was on the Frankenstein.
Frankenstein was on the
Universal Monster Channel.
Any good?
Yeah, it's fucking outstanding.
Okay, good.
I'm like, was it Mike Herman who said they vacillate between that and Bride as their favorite? And
you're like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whichever one I saw last would be the favorite.
That's fine. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have one.
They're both.
I guess I'm exactly the same because I can appreciate Bride. I think there's a lot more to talk about and to appreciate about Bride as a piece of art. But I think the starkness of Frankenstein is such a strength.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's whatever one.
And we've talked. Yeah,
we talked about those.
Yeah. Shadow on the wall as he approaches Cloestein's bed. In that shadow, you can see very clearly how padded his shoulders are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they jut out, and then there's a little indent where the sleeve sort of must have wrinkled in or something.
Okay.
It is very evident that he's got shoulder pads on. He borrowed them from Joan Crawford, I think.
Yeah, it could be.
And
or it's not even him.
I don't know why they would bother.
No, true. Just go stand there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in the next film, it's way worse, way more obvious how padded that costume is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, padded not just in the shoulders.
I'm thinking it's the same costume because it looks very much the same.
Well, this one at least
This is not Karloff's by any stretch of the imagination. This looks like a Halloween costume almost at times.
Yeah.
That it looks so obviously padded. Even before this shot, throughout the film, it just looked obviously padded, where Karloff never looked obvious. Mm-hmm. Maybe in Son, because he's so padded.
Right.
But certainly not in Bride or in Frankenstein. It just looks like he's just that bulky.
It's weird that it's become, that by this point in the series, it's become the way that you portray him as this big, bulky, padded guy. Yep. When the big hit film, in the first place, he doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
And why does he look like that
Because
now?
it's become a caricature. The head, like I talked about, when we first saw him, I talked about how the makeup, the head is literally flat with corners, a sharp edge around it, whereas none of the Karloff ones were like that.
That's true.
Certainly in Frankenstein, it's barely flat. Mm-hmm. And then in Bride, it's a little more pronounced because it's a little more stylized.
He's burnt, too.
Well, and the hair is gone. Yeah. But the shape of it is different. Mm-hmm. And then in Son, it's, 3 inches taller or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still
it's
not...
like Lincoln's hat.
Yes. It's still not... it's still not like...
It's got a stovepipe head.
It's still not like you could make pancakes on the top of it. Like
right.
This,
like Buster Keaton's hat.
Yeah.
Like a
pork pie
hat.
Yep. Junior stands next to the bed as Chloe stirs awake. And I wrote, and this may be why you brought this, but I wrote, the screenwriter either thought Karloff was playing the monster or really, really wanted him to, because it describes the monster in some
isn't this stuff that's all happening next week?
It is.
Okay.
But it starts here.
Okay.
That he's describing some very Karloffian behavior.
I agree.
And that's as far as I'll go because I go into more detail next week.
Look forward to that next week.
If we get there.
What's the soap? I can remember how that one goes.
Confused?
You won't be
after the next episode of
Frankenstein Minute. There we go. We won't get sued for that.
Well, I try to use just enough.
To get sued?
No, to not get sued.
Okay. All right. So that sound of us not using the
soap themes
fucking theme song is can only mean one thing. This is we're watching Taxi.
Yep.
I guess. No, it means the other thing. It's time for Got Any Wise Ass Comments. Wise Ass is brought to you by patreon.com/Frankenstein Minute, where you can go and sign up at the Wise Ass level and make comments. We are legally obligated to read your comments.
We have to by law.
We can bleep out any references to the but other than that, all fair game.
You can just say it. I'll just bleep it.
Okay. Was an inside job.
Yep.
Will Hohenstein writes, was an inside job. No, he doesn't. Wouldn't that be something?
Now they're just trying to get us kicked out.
I just remembered the thing that actually got us in trouble wasn't even that. It was. All right. Will writes, I think Will is first on here. I think this is how sleep paralysis demons creep into people's rooms.
Yeah.
What do you call that? SIDS?
Sudden infant death syndrome.
That's death. Oh, okay.
You don't want to make light of that.
Sleep paralysis demons. I've never had sleep paralysis.
No, I haven't. Oh, I had once.
Yeah?
One time I woke up screaming.
Oof.
And we just had Zoe, so she was a baby, and I fell asleep with my arm around my then wife. And I was dreaming I was holding Zoe.
Okay.
And we had this coffee table at the time. It was a big wooden coffee table. It had sort of a scalloped edge and rounded corners on it. Yeah. We got rid of it shortly after this. Yeah. And I was holding her in the living room. My wife rolled over, and the sensation of her pulling away from my arm, I dreamt that I dropped Zoe, and she exploded like a watermelon of blood, hitting that. Cheryl couldn't wake me up. I screamed and screamed and screamed, and I couldn't. Once I finally snapped out of it, I'm like just drenched in sweat, shaking, and I couldn't get back to sleep the rest of the night.
Wow. Well, you got that. I mean, that thing they say about baby brain. I can see that.
Yeah.
You just go through it's not fun. fun, really.
No, it's terrifying.
New parent.
How we survived to adulthood is beyond me.
I agree.
Having been a parent, now a grandparent, I'm just so paranoid of everything.
Sure. Okay.
And it's worse now than when my kids were little, just because the world is worse.
Is it, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
They go into a public place, I'm terrified.
And
nowadays,
you think that's because the public places are different than they used to be?
You didn't.
You didn't
used to get.
Weren't.
No,
were
you just
more
didn't used to get
then?
shot in a fucking mass shooting as much.
I agree.
They still happen, but they were rare, and they made headline news. Now it's like you got to scroll halfway down past all the Taylor Swift stories to find it.
But it's like being afraid to get on a Boeing plane.
No, I get. I know
it's not like it's really going to happen.
It's not a rational fear.
Yeah. So when you say it's worse, it's a little worse, I guess.
It is sort of. It is.
To me, what makes that worse is that my kids will see that.
Yeah.
My kids understand that. My kids, even if they don't see it, they were told in school what to do.
Yeah.
They shut down the campus of their college a couple of weeks ago because something was going on.
Mm.
And they never know what it is, right? It's like best to err on the side of caution.
I guess, but
I don't know. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Why have kids?
Thanks, Will.
Thanks for your fucking comment, Will. Asshole. Wise ass, I should say.
Yeah, wise ass.
Mike Herman writes, Husman is the world's worst parent.
There we go. See? No, I agree. No, I'm
just
agreeing.
because she sleeps in her own room?
No. Is that all he says?
No. Even worse than Wolf, if I may be so bold. How can Junior get into that house without crashing into everything?
Exactly.
That's true. He's like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah, but yet he has stealthily navigated.
Stealthy last movie?
Yeah, but that was Boris Karloff.
Okay, so maybe not just. Maybe there's a drunkenly aspect to this.
Well, not that necessarily, but I don't think Cheney himself.
No, I'm only joking. He's playing a character that seems like he'd be a bull in the china shop.
Yes,
that's the role.
I do think in some regard Cheney himself was a bull in a china shop.
Yeah, I think so.
He was a very big guy.
Yep.
Who wasn't always the
sober.
Most. Well, yeah, but he didn't always think before he did stuff. Some of the pranks that he would pull on Evelyn don't seem real well thought out.
I don't even know.
Time. Oh, he chased her up some tree or something somewhere, and Jesus. I don't know. He tormented her.
Oh, great!
It was in retaliation because she had the next bungalow from him and Broderick Crawford, and they would trash it and make all kinds of noise, and she complained to whoever.
The police?
No, the Universal Police.
Okay.
Not the actual. So I think Universal City had its own police force for a while.
Okay.
It might still, I don't know, because it is a city.
Right.
So that didn't sit real well with someone who was emotionally not the most mature person ever.
Yeah.
I have tremendous sympathy for him because his childhood and his life in general was horseshit.
Yeah, kind of.
So, I'm not saying this to be condescending.
Right.
I just recently read a biography of him, the first time I ever delved into that. And holy fuck, this is awful.
Yeah.
His dad left his entire fortune to some guy.
Really?
Yeah, and Lon got shit and tried to sue to get something. And it was, and he was, his Lon Sr. was abusive. And
I knew that. That one always comes out.
Yeah.
And
but yet on his deathbed, he took his makeup kit and wrote Junior after Lon Chaney and hands it to him and then dies.
Does he actually hand it to him?
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That is from A Man of a Thousand Faces, if you're playing along at home.
Yep. Husman is the world's worst parent. Yeah. So Husman, just let's not forget what Husman's main focus is at this time, is that his dear Cloestine has been abducted. And so now he, puts her to bed and goes out drinking.
Well, that's why, like I said, I used to think that no one else was home.
Could be.
And it's still possible.
Sean writes, this hidden room, so we're going back in time a little bit.
Okay.
But it's still this minute. This hidden room is the only set piece in Ludwig's manor that looks as if it should belong in a Frankenstein film.
That's true.
Heavy stone, cobwebs, and a picnic table for Igor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
There you go.
This set and then the castle sets from the beginning of the film.
Sure.
Those.
Good point.
But those go away very, very quickly, like within minutes.
They even have the set from the like courtroom or whatever, where the council room. So right out of the other film. Yeah.
Well,
true.
and the sets as the castle is crashing down around Igor when they're blowing it up at the beginning of the film.
Right.
Those all look great.
Yeah.
But once we get to the
we spent half an hour in the sunlight, basically.
Yeah. This is a sanitarium. It's a hospital.
Yeah.
So of course it's not going to be all gothic and arches and things like that. It has some in that hallway, but we're still not sure where that hallway was.
Yep.
Where he gasses everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of weird now to even try and
say.
Now that yep.
That's cast rather a gloom over the evening, hasn't it?
Charles Paulson writes, "Oh, he said the line." I'm guessing he means, "I've warned you," because it's in the theme song.
It's in the theme. Yeah,
it's in the theme.
See,
that you don't listen to.
I listened to the theme a couple times, but I edit these and I just
paste it on.
Well, I find where our little nonsense at the beginning should fit within it, and then where we come in saying "You've been warned." I don't play through the whole thing.
All right, then it's not as iconic for you as it is for our listeners.
Exactly. But I know it's there.
For either of our listeners.
I know it's there, though.
Yeah, okay, good. So you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, what are we at?
We're 40-some, 46.
Excellent. So let's call it.
Call it. We're calling it.
We're calling it.
Patient died at 2:02 p.m. on March 23rd, 2024. Whatever
the fuck it is.
Who cares?
My kids are 19 today.
Wow.
Yeah.
My kid is going to be 32.
Holy man. God damn it!
God damn it!